Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What's going on out there, peeps? Okay, so I was monitoring the chat like I always do, and there's a good conversation going on and on, but some of the crap that was being brought up, I was asking, what are you talking about? Why'd you ask this question? Why is that such a big deal? And there was a girl in there named Angela, and she's like, there's a lot of questions, Pimpy. We have a lot of questions. If it's all right with you, I'll gather all the questions and send them to you. Could you just answer them for us? Because we're being told a lot of things by different people, and we're trying to figure out what is legit and what is not. And I said, yeah, you're more than welcome to, just as long as you guys don't send me a novel. I can only imagine what the hell is being said out there. But anyways, they sent me the questions. It wasn't too bad, but I was able to pull up the information so I could show you guys what I'm talking about, or I should say my opinion on things. And then we'll take it from there, because some of the questions, I can already tell what's going on. People are reading articles in the news, and anytime it pertains to something that's going on in Iraq, they always make it bigger than it is. Oh, ATFX, oh my God, this means something. Or telecommunications, oh God, this means something. I mean, they mean something, but not like how you're explaining it. It would seem very exaggerated from what people are asking me. But let's get into this, shall we? Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold, silver, or any other precious metals, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description, or just type in www.moneymetals.com/Pimpy. If you make a purchase when you follow that link, you will automatically be entered for a chance to win 10 free silver ounces. So get started today, and hopefully your stack will start to look like this real soon. So head on over, tell them Pimpy sent you. You can follow me over on other platforms. I do have my own group over on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. So head on over here and join us. It's free to do so. In here, I do post updates. If I should get on suspension from YouTube or get removed from YouTube and you want to know what happened to me, I'll let you know right here in this group. I can be found on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and the cool thing about YouTube, if you come over here and you join and you find my channel, I got videos going back, I believe, a couple years. So if you want to see some older videos that I have on Nasera, Jacera, gold, silver, cryptos, come on over here and join, look me up, and check out my videos. You can also find me on Odyssey, catch me on Rumble. When I say that the links for all these are down below in the description, some of you don't know what I'm talking about. It's real simple. Just go down to the bottom right here of any of my videos. See this? This is the description. Hit show more. And there are all the links to all the platforms I just spoke about. So if you do want to head on over to Money Metals, just click it. And there you are. So come on over. Join us. I look forward to having you. So let me give you kind of example of what I'm talking about. When I say that every time something comes out, people out in YouTube world tend to make a big deal out of it. Let's say the weather over there in Iraq is 98 degrees. They'll go, oh my God, today in Iraq, the weather is 98 degrees. This is going to be big. I mean, this is going to help out the exchange rate. Why is that? Because people only come out when it's hot or warm outside, and then they do business with one another. And the business with the dinars means you need more demand on the dinar, and more demand means strengthening the dinar. So it's a good thing it's 98 degrees out there. You're like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. All right, let's get into this, shall we? All right, here we go. Pimpy, why is Iraq only now trading shares on exchange worth around $320 billion over the last 6 months? Does this have anything to do with the exchange rate? Does this have anything to do with reforms? No, what? Okay, so just so you're aware, Iraq has their own stock exchange. They had trouble staying open. So to open, close, and it was constantly being suspended because most of the companies that were listed on a stock exchange were not turning over the necessary data that is required for them to be listed. So it took a while, and there's tons of problems. I remember when we first started buying shares of stock off. Yes, that's right. I said that right. I own Iraqi stocks. you have the ability to buy Iraqi stocks. That's why I know about this, all right? So in the beginning, when they reopened, I mean, there wasn't but about 15 companies, I remember at one time. There wasn't very many. So you want to do your due diligence, understand that they have a primary and secondary stock you can buy. Primary means you get dividends. Secondary means the stock goes up and down in value, and that's how you earn your money. But you definitely want the ones that have dividends, okay? But as far as volume is concerned, it took a long time for a lot of the companies to be compliant. So now there's a lot more companies on there, not very many to be quite honest with you, but so since around 2018 and 2019, more companies were on there. Then they started doing heavy trade in the stocks there. Now, if we're being honest, 320 billion isn't crap. Seriously, it's not. I mean, the United States does in the trillions of dollars on a daily basis, okay? But for Iraq, 320 billion is good. It's not anything that happened in the last 6 months. They've been trading in that kind of volume at least for the past year, and I could prove that to you. You can actually go on the ISX, the Iraqi Stock Exchange, and this is their year-to-year report. This is from the beginning of 2022 to the beginning of 2023. That's what this is. But if you go down to page 99, which is right here, let me show you a better view of it. Here we go. Look at, you can see how very little companies are on the stock exchange. There is more than this, but these are like the primary ones. But you can see the daily trading days. This is how many days they've been active in trading. Look at the huge fluctuations. And why is that? It's because sometimes the bank is in or out of compliance, or they're under some kind of penalty, or they're just now being listed and they've met all the qualifications. Days trading out of an entire year. Think about this. This is from the beginning of 2022 all the way to the beginning of 2023. Look at the number of days like this. Islamic Bank here, it had 1 day of trading. These all had 1 day of trading. So keep that in mind. You can see right here, the Bank of Baghdad did 25 billion in trade volume, did 31 billion in trade value. So for them to be in the $320 billion range is not that big of a deal, because what makes up the 320 billion is literally like a handful of companies. I told you it's not that big of a deal. So as time goes on, these will increase. But look at it here, you guys. The Iraqi Islamic Bank, they did 15 billion. These other two banks did 1 billion. The National Bank of Iraq did 22 billion. You got the National Islamic Bank over here did 14. The Trans-Iraq Bank Investments did 19 billion. But these are most of the trade volume that's happening with the banks, as you can see here. That's not all the companies. There's more. I'm just trying to prove a point. Overall, in the 1 year, just the banks alone on the stock exchange did $524 billion in trade with a value of $348 billion, okay? So $320 billion is not that big of a deal. I mean, even for 6 months, as Iraq Stock Exchange starts to grow and they find that equilibrium, they're still going to continue to do larger and larger amounts. So it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is for us that's invested in it. Of course, we love to see this. And unfortunately, it's sideways, but you got an idea. You can see right here. Here's the other companies that are listed on the exchange. And in total right here, this is in addition to the banks. There was a volume of $564 billion with a trade value of $521 billion. That's in 1 year. So if someone says $320 billion in 6 months, well, hell, they did more than that the 6 months before that, all right? Does this have anything to do with the exchange rate? Well, yeah. The more stable Iraq becomes, the more the growth we'll see in outside investors and internal investors, including Iraqi people, start to put more of their money into companies, invest in the companies. They start creating wealth. If they start creating wealth, of course, then that means they have the means to go out and spend money. The more they spend money, put in their economy, the stronger the economy. You get an idea of what I'm talking about. Companies will have more revenue to expand, to grow, to keep up with latest and greatest in technology. So yeah, all that contributes to the economy overall, and the economy does have an effect on the Iraqi dinar. Does it have anything to do with the reforms? Has nothing to do with the reforms. The stock exchange was already there for quite some time. Whoever said it has anything to do with the reforms, no. Pimpy, what is the program rate? Oh, you guys asked me this before. Look, the term program rate is what I'm finding out is this term that YouTubers use to try to make people feel good about their investment in Iraq dinar and the fact that their international exchange rate is so low. They like to say, wow, its exchange rate is this low because that's the program rate. No, it's their actual fixed rate. So you have fixed exchange rate, flexible exchange rate, floating exchange rate. This one's fixed. The Iraqi dinar, as we know it, for every $1, you get 1,300 Iraqi dinars. That's a fixed rate. That's not a program rate. That's the actual rate. So the program rate, don't fall for that. It's just crap. Pimpy, is the Iraqi government the only people using the internet? Where'd you guys hear that from? No, they're not the only people using the internet. The internet has been available to the Iraqi people for quite some time. Pimpy, does Iraq have 5G technology, internet, and mobile phones? So these questions kind of go together, okay? So Iraq has had mobile phone service, internet service, not just the government, for quite some time. People are asking me about 5G. Well, Zain launched virtual 5G a while ago. And yes, I heard there's a YouTuber out there telling you guys that, oh my God, all of a sudden they're just now getting 5G. Why are they going to do that? This must be part of the reform. This is going to change the exchange rate. No, it isn't. Zain has launched a virtual 5G ready network in Iraq under the name ODI with the US-based digital commerce company Matrix Software. So this article is from June of 2021. So for them to say that Iraq's people never had internet or they never had mobile phone service or they never had 5G is false. They've had it for a while. When they speak about 5G, it says there are those regions that's had it the longest. The Asian Pacific region has had it longer than anybody. But the second region to have 5G the longest, and this is even longer than the United States, believe it or not, EMEA, which stands for the Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. So it's been there for a while. You can see over here on the map, and that includes Iraq. So 5G has been there for a while. Now this article is from 2019. Remember I said they had it longer than 2021? Does Iraq have internet? That's the other question. There were 30 million internet users in Iraq January 2021. The internet penetration in Iraq stood at 75% in January 21. So that's not saying they just got internet in January 2021. What they're saying is there was approximately 30 million users as of January 2021. That's 75% of the people. They had already had internet prior to January 2021. And this is what I'm talking about. Is 5G launched in any country? The APAC region remains the lead with 641 cities, closely followed by the EMEA with 620. So this is the Pacific and this is the Middle East. So the internet and 5G has been in Iraq now for a couple of years. So it's not new, you guys. As far as mobile phone service, look at this. Mobile phone subscribers in the millions. The latest value, 37,650,000. That's as of 2021. These are mobile phone users. So you can see right here, this data is saying they had 0 million subscribers as of 1960 and a maximum of 37 million as of 2021. The latest value from 2021 is at 37,650,000 subscribers. For comparison, the average in 2021, based on 150 countries, is 53 million. So they're almost as high as 150 countries around the world, their average. So back in 2014, there was 33 million people using mobile phones and 33.5 million. Then about 2018, after ISIS was gone, that increased. So they had mobile service and internet and 5G now for some time. Iraq-based mobile operator Correct Telecom offers network coverage to the entire country through the use of the cutting-edge technology and is currently the country's fastest growing operator, which services 18 provinces in Iraq. The operator has time and time again overcome tremendous challenges over the years as Iraq has been subject to political unrest. This is from December 2019. When will Starlink's 5G be available? When will Starlink's 5G be available in Iraq? Starlinks. Okay. Okay, first of all, if someone's telling you that Starlinks is bringing 5G to Iraq, that's false. Starlink and 5G are two different technologies, okay? Satellite capability, 5G capability, mobile phone capability has always been there. It's not new. So if somebody out there is telling you that 5G is getting there for the first time, or they're going to have mobile service for the first time, or they're going to have internet for the first time, that's false. But like I was saying, Starlink versus 5G. Why would there be an article about versus? Which is better? Those who are customers of bundled services that include television and internet often pay less per service when subscribed to both. If Starlink was providing 5G, then why would this person say being subscribed to both would help you out? 5G is a network technology that provides ultra high speed localized internet connectivity through a dense network of small cell towers. Starlink can travel long distances and connect even the most remote areas on Earth. A small disc-shaped receiver is required to communicate with the satellite. So they're two different things. So if someone's telling you that Starlink is bringing you 5G technology, that's false. Dedicated internet services, companies, oil fields, and rural areas in Iraq. Network coverage is fundamental and satisfy internet customers. And here in Starlink, our customers enjoy our reliable connections for internet and community offerings in numerous places and areas in Iraq through national fiber optics infrastructure and fiber or Wi-Fi connections for the final mile. All provider is included with the aid of backup resources and safety plans. So this particular article was sometime in February 2020. So Starlink has been there a while, 5G's been there a little while. Although about 75% of Iraq's people have mobile service or have internet access, the issue is cost, affordability, and a big part of that has to do with their infrastructure. So as they update their infrastructure, so that if anybody in Iraq wants access, they'll have the ability to do it. So the infrastructure definitely is going to help in that way. Why do we have to wait until the Ed is over? The Ed? Ed, the Eid. Okay, so it's called Eid Allah. It's a holiday, it's Muslim. And the way you can remember, it almost sounds like you're saying eat a lot. Like you're eating a lot of food, eat a lot. That's what it is. And kind of that's what's going on, all right? So, why? Because it's a holiday and most people respect it and they don't work on those days. But keep in mind, Iraq's made up of Muslims, Christians, Shiites, so there's multiple religions there. But technically, if you're a Muslim, you're not supposed to be working on this holiday. What is the ATFX? It's just another company that provides services to individuals. They're almost the same as a Forex. Forex is when they do currency pairing and stuff like that. The ATFX does the same thing. I understand you guys are being told it's a big deal. All they did was launch operations in Iraq. But as far as the services that they provide, other companies have been there longer than they have providing the same services. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So someone tried to tell me, oh, this article came out on the 28th. I go, no, it actually came out on the 26th. So I understand one person was like trying to act like they were special, like they had this information longer, but they didn't. This has been out for days before they even talked about it. So the ATFX launched operations in Iraq with the Asher Bank partnership. So we all know the words. They're a global leader in online trading, proudly celebrated a 1-year anniversary with Jordan. So it goes on and on and on. One of the people went on is to highlight the significance of expanding into Iraq, emphasizing the immense potential of Iraq market and the valuable opportunities it presents. The audience was captivated by Mr. DC's insights into the company's vision and strategy for success in Iraq. So, okay, it's just another company that you could turn to do trades on is what it is. ATFX is an award-winning currency pairing company. They're a CFD broker with global presence, offering customer support in 15 different languages with over 300 tradable finance assets, including currency pairing, precious metals, energy, indices, and shares trade. It's like another type of stock exchange is all it is. It's no big deal. They are one of the largest ones, and so they signed an agreement. I know somebody's out there trying to tell you that this is a big deal and this is going to change the exchange rate. No, it's not. It's just another option for the Iraqi people. This is in March of 2023. Best Forex brokers in 2023. So here, they already have other Forex brokers there. So it's no big deal. No big deal at all. As a matter of fact, if you come over here, this is from 2 years ago. This is the best Forex brokers in Iraq. So there's a video on YouTube talking about the best Forex brokers in Iraq. So ATFX, I mean, it's a big company. It's good for Iraq to have options. So congratulations to them. Why is CBI merging with exchange companies like ATFX? They're not merging with ATFX. Who said they were merging with ATFX? They're not merging. ATFX is coming into Iraq. The CBI merging with exchange companies, we're talking about smaller exchange companies that are not regulated. So they charge high premiums, they do shady stuff. So what the CBI is doing is essentially taking over these exchange companies so they can stop doing shady stuff, causing a huge gap between the parallel market rate and the fixed market rate is all it is. They're not merging with ATFX. If somebody told you that, they're lying. And there's a merger to help launch the lower denominations with the new exchange. What? Is a merger to help launch the lower denominations with the new exchange rate. How to answer this? If somebody is claiming that ATF is merging with the CBI so that they can then launch the lower denominations with the new exchange rate, that's false. Now, will ATFX be working with lower denominations once they ever get released? Yes. Will they be dealing with whatever exchange rate is available at the time? Yes. Will that be the same as today's exchange rate? Maybe. Will it be a different one? Maybe. But if somebody's trying to say that ATFX is merging with the CBI and that all of a sudden they're going to start pushing out lower denominations with the changed exchange rate immediately, this is false. Is Iraq and CBI collecting 3-0 notes? What? The higher denominations? No, they're not collecting it right now. If they were, there would be a redenomination. Look, there is only talk of a redenomination, the deletion of the zeros. There's a study going on. Okay, trust me, we don't want to go that route if we can avoid it. I prefer the exchange rate happen in increments and they slowly remove the higher denominations. This way, then, we benefit from a higher exchange rate. But is the CBI currently collecting the 3-0 notes? No, they're not. They need them. As a matter of fact, if they were collecting them, then why is the CBI talking about launching a 20,000 dinar? So whoever's telling you that is lying. Pimpy, have you heard of Eddie's report? Are you sure you're spelling that right? Eddie's report or Edie's report or Ed's report? Are you sure this is not a company name or you just think it's called Edie's? I don't know what Edie's report is or Eddie's report. Sounds like crap to me. But if you guys could find out, let me know and I'll tell you because I never heard of nothing called Eddie's report. Pimpy, how's the ATFX Starlink's 5G? And there's no Starlink's 5G internet. Two separate things. CBI merger with exchange companies and infrastructure connected. And does that have anything to do with the RV? If somebody's telling you that the merging of ATFX with the Central Bank of Iraq, along with Starlink or 5G internet, and the merging of the exchange companies with the Central Bank of Iraq and infrastructure, does this have anything to do with the RV? Them reinstating the 322 rate has nothing to do with it whatsoever. Nothing at all. Now, each one of these individually or partnered up together, however way you want to look at it, will strengthen the economy in Iraq. ATFX, of course, will give people options for trading. Starlink's availability will help people do business on the internet. You heard what the article said. If they're partnered up with 5G internet, then this gives them the best options. Then people can look into investments, do the research, buy things. This allows Iraq to have the ability for e-commerce. That will help the economy. CBI merging with the exchange companies. While the unregulated exchange companies, the more you get rid of them or the more you regulate them, the more control the central bank will have over them. And that will strengthen the dinar exchange rate, okay? So one thing I'm noticing is people are mixing up two things. They keep talking about how these different things are going to change the exchange rate. And they're reading part of an article. Just understand that these people, they have not figured out that there are two separate rates that are kept track. The Central Bank of Iraq, the official, the government set exchange rate is 1,300 dinars. Now, when you hear people talk about the exchange rate being 1,470 dinars, they're talking about the parallel market, the black market out there is what it is. So if the CBI starts merging with these unregulated companies, that gap between the official exchange rate and the black market rate will start to shrink, which is good, okay? And that does add value to the Iraqi dinar in the sense that they won't turn so much to the black market for their dinars. If they get punished for it, then they definitely won't. As long as people respect that, this will help strengthen the dinar. Because if you have people out there taking US dollars and buying on the black market the dinar, then this is bad for the bank because they're being circumvented. And then people are paying off their debt or their trade with the cheaper dinars that they're buying on the black market. And because they're buying cheaper dinars on the black market, this affects the overall dinar value. Does Iraq's government or CBI communicate with citizens via text? I'm sure there's some kind of app out there that if you want to find out what's the latest and the greatest with the government or the CBI, it'll tell you. Let me guess, somebody's trying to make it sound like it's some big thing that the citizens need to have text so they can find out whenever the central bank changes the RVs or changes the exchange rate. It doesn't affect the Iraqi people the same way it does us. Let me give you an example, all right, so you guys can understand this. When the exchange rate takes place, the only thing it's going to do is increase the purchasing power in Iraq, okay? That's all it's going to do. So let me give you an example, like I said. Let's say I have a $100 bill in my pocket. All of a sudden, there's an announcement being made. And it says that Iraq has reinstated their 322 rate. Okay, so what does that mean for us here in the United States? Not a damn thing, just like it won't mean a damn thing over there in Iraq. So what do these people think you're going to do? I'm going to take my $100 to the bank, Wells Fargo, and some go, hey, look, the exchange rate between Iraq and the United States have changed. Here's my $100 bill. And they're going to go, okay, what about it? Well, our international exchange rate has changed. What's that got to do with your American $100 bill? Doesn't it change? No, it doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything at all. If the exchange rate takes place or it's reinstated, that means the currency that Iraq has gives them more purchasing power, but they won't feel the effects right away. And the reason for that is you got to understand that once they start using the more valued currency and they start importing or exporting things, it's going to affect the values of goods and services that come into Iraq. That's when they will see the change. But it doesn't necessarily make them richer. And the reason why I say necessarily is this. Because if they reinstate the 322 rate, the odds are that they'll have a redenomination first. That's when they delete the zeros. So then a 25 dinar is equal to 25,000 dinar in value until the larger denominations are removed. And once they're removed, then they'll change the exchange rate. And then they won't care what the international exchange rate is. It just means you have more purchasing power. That means you could buy more with less dinar. But if you're out there thinking, oh, the Iraqi people have 25,000 dinars, they're going to be able to exchange with themselves and get, Americans' 322 rate. If Iraq is now outlawing the use of the US dollar, then why do they need to take their more valuable currency and exchange it for a less valuable currency, which would be the US dollar? They wouldn't do that. They would have more purchasing power with their own currency, but they certainly wouldn't have that with the larger denominations. Only people who've invested into the dinar as an investment that's outside of the country, they would take advantage of a change in the exchange rate. That's what Forex trading is. But as far as the effects in country, they're just going to feel it in the pocketbooks when they go to buy goods and services. That's it. Okay. So why would they need a text from the central bank telling them that the exchange rate changed? I mean, that'd be good news. I guess you go, yeah, great. Instead of me paying $5 for a dozen eggs, now the price might drop down to 50 cents for a dozen eggs. Congratulations. Your services and goods are now cheaper. But these people out there talking about the dinar, they're just loopy, all right? They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. They're making it sound like the Iraqi people are going to get rich just like everybody else that holds the currency. Only if they live outside of Iraq. And then what? You're changing your dinars for a less valuable currency? Why would you trade your then Iraqi dinars for the US dollar now that the US dollar has become less valuable? It's just going to take $3.22 for you just to get one Iraqi dinar. So why trade your dinar for the US dollar? Most people are going, well, because you could buy more things in Iraq. No, you can't. The Iraqi dinar would now be more valuable. You could buy more things with your dinar than the US dollar. Does that make sense? I know. They don't tell you this crap. So do they communicate with them? Yeah, but if you're saying that they're communicating with them because they're trying to inform them when the RV happens or when the exchange rate changes, they can get that on the news. They really don't care. How does Zane's 2017, 2018, 2019, and so on telecommunication data affect Iraq? Somebody said it was significant. Nothing. It doesn't do anything. Not a damn thing. Doesn't help them whatsoever. It's not significant at all. Will the merger with exchange companies change the exchange rate? How does the merger control the exchange rate? Well, I just explained it up there. We're talking, okay, understand. They're talking about trying to snag up all those unregulated exchange rate. They might get some regulated one as well. But what you're trying to do is limit the number of companies out there that are selling your currency. And the more of a tighter leash you have on that, obviously then the central bank will have the ability to control supply and demand. Make sense? Let's say you sell widgets and you got 2,000 people selling your widgets, but you're trying to control the cost. Let's say you tell these people, look, I only want you to sell my widget for $100. And somebody's out there selling widgets for $50, well, they're undermining the value that you're putting out there because they're selling it cheaper. But if I turn around and I take the 2,000 companies and I bring it down to more like 20 companies, well, then I would have better control over the 20 companies than I would the 2,000. So the more these unregulated exchanges that they get rid of, the more control that Iraq has over the power of their currency, the distribution of their currency. And of course, that would strengthen the dinar and over time help with the exchange rate. Will dinar be tradable on exchange once they are Article 8? You guys asked me about this Article 8 compliant. It's already tradable, just so you know. You can go on other exchanges and exchange the dinar for other currency. It's the only one it's not actively on is Forex, which is actually a big deal. You can go on to other foreign exchange tradable platforms and trade the dinar. And as far as Article 8 compliant, you guys still haven't told me what kind of Article 8. Is this the World Trade Organization? Is this the IMF? Is this the World Bank? I mean, is this the Federal Reserve? What Article 8? Whoever's saying Article 8, ask them, what Article 8 are you talking about? Just throwing out Article 8 makes it sound fancy. Well, they're Article 8 compliant. Well, that might sound fancy if you told them what type of Article 8. If they said, well, this would make them the World Trade Organization's Article 8 compliant, well, then that might make sense. But if they're just throwing out Article 8, it's just to sound fancy and they're full of crap. Has any dinar YouTuber ever taken you up on the offer to debate? No, and they wouldn't dare. They'd get crushed. And they'll make every excuse out there in the world, but they'll get crushed. Absolutely smoked on my show. I can go on theirs or they can come on mine. As long as they're respectful, I don't have a problem with it. But they're not going to do it because they know what I'm telling you guys, and that's why I always show you the receipts. That's why I show you the internet sites. That's why I show you the links to articles. If they don't do that, they charge you money. I don't. That's because I'm transparent, and that's why they can't beat me in a debate. Anyways, I hope that helps you guys out. I'll get back at you later. I'm out.